Hello everyone. Today I would like to give information that very important, but in many years children of O1 cannot get it because it has too many people to prohibit, and we try to send it and Facebook delete it. So this time you can listen to all the information by now. Let's listen to it.
1. The following information is information that the temple people did not know or read, even though Kiantawan, the messenger, posted the information on Facebook, shared online many times over the years between 2018 and 2024. It is additional information that has been adjusted according to the increasing evidence over time and has been added to tell about new events that have occurred. It has become updated information that continues from the information, The Truth of Famous Temples 184 episodes and explanations, that was first sent in August 2018 and has been sent in succession over the years that Kiantawan had posted on Facebook before, but was reported to be deleted without the Facebook owner knowing about it at all. Most recently, there has been a signal from the hidden dragon Luang Por Dhammajayo, which we call with the code 01, through a real person who knows the truth. For Kiantawan to share this information again, between the 14th to the 16th of January 2025, both via line and Facebook, for those who follow or do not follow Kru Jor. The translation may be based on Kru Jor's own thoughts. However, this prophecy, the dragon hidden in the body, referring to O1, Luang Por Dhammajayo, can be summarized from the prophecy that some things are similar, some things are different from what Kru Jor translated. This is not strange because Kru Jor was raised by Wat Phra Dhammakaya, which is being dominated by the dark side, the devil who relies on the people we call worm, O6, Phra Maha Dr and the big secretary of O1. If Kru Jor's translation is true, it will affect the status of the worm O6, the big secretary of O1, so they will definitely not let the program continue. But what happened was that they saw that Kru Jor's program provided information about events in the temple that was very useful to the worm, the big secretary of O1. Especially the matter that Kru Jor emphasized that O1, Luang Por Dhammajayo, was in the temple and was locked up and not allowed to come out. It is impossible for an expert in Dhammakaya knowledge who can fly and disappear like Luang Por Dhammajayo, O1, to be controlled and confined in a temple by a human being, which Kru Jor also helped them benefit from maintaining the faith of the host, merit-making leader, devout people in the false information about Luang Por being in the temple, and also ordered new merit-making events to be done, and invited to do so on a grand scale, making the fundraising through the newly announced project believable as a project from O1, Luang Por Dhammajayo in the minds of many people, but it is logically impossible according to reality. Whoever has read the story, The Truth of the Famous Temple from Mongkorn Songkai since 2018 and has been sharing it for many years, it will be possible to understand correctly, keep up with and know the answer to why it is impossible for O1 to be in the temple and command a large project, such as the construction of the 80-year building and the construction of 24 Buddha statues at Ko Kyu Chedi Sawan at this time, which demolished the original that was just completed in 2019 because it was spray painted from the finished pink color according to the plan to gold, and claimed that it was against the plan from O1 that had announced to raise funds to build in 2018 in March and drove the piles on World Earth Day that year in April 2018. At that time, O1 was still commanding work in the temple and had informed many times that O1 decided to leave the temple in early February 2019 because he foresaw that if O1 did not leave the temple would be treated like the temple raid in February 2017 to claim to arrest O1. Even if O1 could not be arrested, He would claim to be a reason to chase people out of the temple and close the temple first, in order to wait for the lawsuit to indict O1 and until the court decides that he is not guilty. Then the temple can be opened. Before that day comes, the thousands of temple residents who entrusted their lives to O1, including monks, laymen, laywomen, and staff, will be destroyed because they will not have a place to build merit for a long time, which may mean ending their lives first, which will be a great hardship for all children. The predictions of Nostradamus are shocking in that many stories are consistent with the events that are currently happening and will happen from now on, which Kru Jor does not dare to translate directly because it will cause serious harm to life. If translated directly, it will become an exposure of the evil deeds of O6, Phra Maha Dr, and O1's secretary and their associates who currently hold the power to manage the temple. From the information that Kru Jor said, O6, Phra Maha Dr, followed O2, deputy abbot to the temple management meeting, which O6 was ordered by O1, Luang Por Dhammajayo to leave Wat Phra Dhammakaya far away, not to return since the middle of the Buddhist Lent in 2558, and make him resentful, to the extent of using the criminal process to oppress O1, which this kind of action O1 doesn't even have to do anything wrong. He must find a way to escape from the temple because he knows that this justice process will not be truly fair because it is a plan to eliminate O1 from the command without having to have a reason for what he did wrong. Just force him to come and acknowledge the charges and lock him up and be detained at BSI. He can find a beautiful reason to take off his robes O1 and will eliminate him to death within one night without anyone being able to blame anyone. And for this reason, those who go to hell and heaven can see past and future events like O1, will stay to be arrested to eliminate O1, they will receive a great sin. For this reason, O1 must fall into the status of escaping the arrest warrant for a criminal case, which is just the process of summoning to acknowledge the charges. The status of the case is just suggested to be prosecuted, but cannot be prosecuted because there is a process in which O1 must acknowledge the charges first and has the right to bring documentary evidence to confirm and deny the charges. If the evidence is credible, the prosecutor can still consider not prosecuting. Since O1 has not been found, he just has not used that right in the case. So he cannot send the case to court to prosecute O1. This time, escaping the arrest warrant is not escaping the crime that the court has found guilty and then issued an arrest warrant. Continued 2. And normally, in this kind of situation, the worldly situation, just having bail money, can allow O1 to return to lead the group to make merit again because he is not a serious criminal who is a danger to the masses. But the reason it has become quiet and has not progressed, waiting for many years like this, is because it is all just a plan that has been arranged and paid to act out a big scene together on the share that will be received if O1 can be arranged to step down from the position of abbot and leave the temple. They will be able to enjoy themselves on the temple's pile of gold and money conveniently forever, at least equal to the statute of limitations for criminal cases of 12 years per one case. If you want him not to have to come back for the rest of his life, just create more binding cases. But what O6, Phra Maha Dr, is going to do, the most evil thing that no one would have thought of, is in line with the prophecy of Nostradamus. And this is the translated text from Nos-Jor of the first day's share message. Explain that, 1. Explain that he will seize the position of abbot of Wat Phra Dhammakaya and branch centers to test the disunity of the group. He threatened and drove out dissidents who would come back to conflict with him from the temple and ruled the temple with a dictatorial method for 14 years. Analysis. In this case, he is O6, Phra Maha Dr, who was determined to be the abbot. So he seized power from O1 from Wat Phra Dhammakaya and drove out dissidents or those who did not accept him from the temple because they would come back to obstruct him. And ruled the temple with a dictatorial method for 14 years. Meaning, it is known that 06 Phra Maha Dr began driving out dissidents from the temple since 2011 and has been doing so until this year, 2023, which is 12 years. But if counting from the date that he actually started using dictatorial power, which is the date that 06 Phra Maha Drive volunteered to do the monk ordination project throughout Thailand in the second year in January 2011, but interfered and ruled the entire project in every ordination center throughout Thailand in order to prevent it from achieving the goal that O1 wanted, and drugged O1 through food to eliminate O1 first, but failed. That was the beginning of using a dictatorial method to rule the temple. Since the beginning of the year, January 2011, counting plus 14 years, it will end in 2025, counting from 2023. There are 2 years left. Explain that. 2. Explain that the opening of the temple's ancient amulets and the making of many fake ones will tell the chart and pattern that the evil people have committed. Fraud. Creating stories with false beliefs to make it a sect that attracts people to believe and have faith in wanting these ancient amulets, which are white, black, and green, such as jade. Analysis 06, Phra Maha Dr claimed 01. The fake type is that 01 is not really involved, but claims to make commemorative coins of the amulets, imitating the old ones, to claim their sacredness. Making a lot of them mixed with the real ones, to raise more funds, and embellishing the teachings to create beliefs with thoughts, to attract people to join in making merit. Because they hope to get ancient black, white, and green amulets, which claim their sacredness, inviting with philosophical words and teachings that they have thought up themselves. Explain that. 6. Those who take over the temple, namely 06, Phra Maha Drive, will fill their pockets to the fullest, carrying as much money as possible. Then 7 days will create a cruel problem, pushing back to Luang Por 01 with hatred, resentment buried in the blood as blood-red anger, making an axe 7 times, which the women who are laywomen see this action as creating peace. Explain that. 8. The person behind 06, Phra Maha Dr will find that he has been deceived, hidden from 06, Phra Maha Drive, and his gang who made a dictatorship to take over the Dhammakaya temple without telling him, becoming angry, ordering an appointment to hand over the person who lied and hid from him on the bridge and killing them along with their followers on that bridge. Explain that. 9. The group of people from the inner Dhammakaya temple went to meet the people from the outer area, joined the merit-making ceremony, had fun in various ceremonies, ate together at the Dhammakaya temple, and then everyone went home to sleep, not knowing that there were 3 armies coming to take over the temple, and all the groups in both the inner and outer areas, who were not aware of the news from both Kru Jor and Mongkorn Sun Kai. Kru Jor also told the events that were happening in the temple that 06 Phra Maha Dr used a secret meeting trick, took over the temple and took over the group. But no one in the group knew anything. They were asleep. If they didn't listen to Kru Jor tell them, and didn't read the story sent from the hidden dragon, they wouldn't know the truth at all. Explained that 1006 Phra Maha Drive will be forced to accept the promise of the goal of the mind's desire according to the previous abbot. Luang Por Dhammajayo, 01 received from Grandma teacher who received it from Luang Pu Sat again and passed it to Abbot Phra Mu when he took the position of abbot of Wat Phra Dhammakaya. But because of the higher-up behind them, 06 Phra Maha Drive will make people not hear anything when he and his group come to search for the treasures in Wat Phra Dhammakaya to take to the higher-up behind them without the temple people knowing. Explained that. 12 From the long war, all merit-making activities have ended. The air is not good. What is provided for the soldiers, both monks and laypeople in the area, is not money. but a place with gold and silver, leather seats, sitting on the floor without cushions, seats, where the group can only come to sit and complain and talk. Nothing to support. There is an aerial goal and a crescent symbol. There is a pole pointing up to the sky like an antenna and a crescent symbol attached to the end of the pole, which means the symbol of Islam. Analysis. In fact, the competition between 01 and 06, Phra Maha Dr through 02, Deputy Abbot, was to protect the temple from falling to Islam, which is behind 06, Phra Maha Dr, who is doing everything possible to sit as the abbot, not just to get the wealth that the relatives and devotees donated to the temple in various merit-making ceremonies, but also to give the temple and its land to Islam. Until that day comes, it takes a long time to fight and defend. In the end, they run out of fighting power and merit, so they can take it and change the place to be gold and silver all over. And there are no cushions or chairs to sit on, only an empty floor. Continue. 3. Analysis. Teacher Jor clearly stated on the program that someone sent a monk to look at the treasure. I don't know if he opened the drawer to look at the money or not. This tells us that the party behind the scenes, who is likely someone from above, not the village headman of village number 10, used his ordination as a monk to have the right to access the temple's treasure chest without any abnormality. But that also means that there is an opportunity for 06, Phra Maha Drive, to embezzle donated money to this group of people according to the agreement that he had or will continue to have, or will there be a new one when there is an exchange to promote 06 to continue to be the abbot or not. But this is the danger of breaking into the temple's safe. Explain that. 16. The rebel against the group is 06, Phra Maha Dr is the Duke of Alba in this sense. Rebelling against anyone is rebelling against Luang Por Dhammajayo, 06's grandfather, the conqueror of Mara, who will go to the end of the Dharma. The Great One of Jis, that Kru Jor translated, is the great winner by seeing, so it means Luang Por 01 will come to obstruct him, that is, obstruct 06, Phra Maha Drive. What is obstructing? The matter that 06, Phra Maha Dr leads the group of 01 who are prisoners to believe and do as 06, Phra Maha Dr wants, which is to build the Buddha, the beloved part, at the island of the heavenly pagoda instead. The pagoda that will enshrine the relics of the first master of the Dhammakaya knowledge. The suppression section is Grandma Thongsuk at this time, rebelling against Luang Por Phra, the conqueror of Mara and the Dhammakaya knowledge. This means that the translation of Kru Jor is not consistent with the truth according to the correct reason that when the rebel in the first sentence must not be 01 because if it is 01, there is no need to rebel. Everything is a group, belongs to 01 and the suppression section follows Luang Por Dhammajayo already. The rebel means 06, Phra Maha Dr in this case. The rebellion against the grandfather of 06 is the rebellion against Luang Por Dhammajayo, the suppression section, by creating a new tradition, creating the Buddha in the style of the favorite section, instead of the original tradition of 01, the suppression section. Therefore, the Duke of Alba is the rebel in the first sentence, therefore it means 06, Phra Maha Drive, who is not the same person as the great of guys that Kru Jor means 01 makes this third sentence mean that 01 will come to obstruct the rebel, which is 06, Phra Maha Dr obstructing what? It is the matter of 06 when rebelling against Luang Por Dhammajayo, Phra suppression section, seizing the temple in the suppression section group of 01 and also leading the group of 01 to build a monument. In Buddhism, it is to build a Buddha image in the form of the proud section, who is currently asking for merit, which the group of 01 is unknowingly controlled that they are being used to find money for the temple, becoming a member of the rebel group of 06 and following what he led to nirvana. Deviating from the path of following Luang Por Phra, the conqueror of Mara, not going to the ultimate Dharma. Analysis. This prediction confirms that inviting to build 24 Buddha images is actually creating the Buddha of the proud section, which 06 Phra Maha Dr. is the one who rebelled and seized the temple and did not let the group of 01 know the truth. Instead, he invited the group of Luang Por Dhammajayo, the suppression section, to build the Buddha of the proud section. It is equivalent to leading the group of the suppression section like 01 to change the target, change the plan of building merit from the suppression section. To follow him, 06 Phra Maha Dr., who is the next favorite section. It is equivalent to seizing the group that built merit to follow Luang Por 01 to the end of Dharma. To be his group that will enter Nirvana, the favorite section like Niyata Bodhisattva, not going to the end of Dharma according to the suppression section of 01. Explained that, 17, there was the piling up of donated money in large amounts, putting it in sacks, threatening the temple officials who were involved in the finances at different points with anger, fire, to have to cooperate because they were afraid of being eliminated. Losing a huge amount of donated money that was meant to support the temple, shedding great blood, meaning blood used to support the body to survive, when the body is the temple. The blood that supports the temple to survive is the donated money, transporting it along the route that is the Great River, claiming to use it to support the people. The country, which is the big river, big flower in this chapter, sending it to groups of organizations in different cities. Collaboration support 06 Phra Maha Dr., such as the Religious Reform Council, to the buyer organization, Haibun, and from the city of Jeans, Dr. Manau, after waiting for a long time since 2017. Which was an agreement to use Section 44 to surround the temple for 3 days, until it was extended to a total of 23 days. Nice. After a long wait, it reached the mayor, Buzan. Above, Turin, to Kumari, to Princess Solon, in this chapter, above, not the village headman of village number 10. Explain that, 18, there are more than 10 people from Longda, inner area, and Quinn, outer area, with thousands of people who want to cross the Alps to find 01. While the great Alabrash marches against the Brandis, while Aquin and Bress will come and stop them, the Alabrash. Analysis. Explain that the result of the seizure of the temple by 06 Phra Maha Dr. caused a large amount of donations to be sent out to the group of people outside the temple, who were not the temple builders, until the inner temple people were in trouble. There were more than 10 people who decided to travel to find 01 and the outer temple disciples of 01. Totaling thousands of people, marched to find 01 because they were against 06 who seized the temple. This caused the people on the side of 06 Phra Maha Dr. 2 people here may mean Dr. Manau and Mr. 2, Aquin and Bress, to come and destroy the group marching against 06 who seized the temple. Explain that, 19 Wat Phra Dhammakaya on Khao Luang, which 06 Phra Maha Dr. had already taken possession of. This led to the creation of a Kasan, where 06 Phra Maha Dr. is the only one who will talk and count, oppress, tyrannize the temple officials who are responsible for receiving merit in all relevant sections, draw up maps, make copies. Thousands of people, in Chapter 31, who march, Milane March, across the mountains to 01, Alps Repasser, butterflies, who grew from caterpillars that cheated the temple, found golden flowers, the work of making gold leaf in the shape of a large flower, the size of a large tray, selling to outsiders, florins of gold. And people who are exhausted from building merit in the temple, gens is Puiser, people exhausted, continued 4. Explain that, 20. This story continues from the previous chapter because 06 Phra Maha Dr. seized the temple, seized the power to govern the temple, and then defrauded outsiders who had power in the country, set new rules, and took advantage of the temple forces, both inside and outside, to dominate with black magic through the Zoom system. Drugging people through food. People in the section who work to raise funds and recruit people to the temple, to be able to use it continuously, and to pass information to spies, and use the method of having two outsiders disguise themselves to come and surround the temple people, pretending to be friends and allies. In order to find temple people who have a heart of accumulating hatred, who have to sit and meditate, and not see anything, but there is nothing else to do, no merit-making activities. So he will persuade them to become a force for them to trick and use to work for 06. Explain that, 21, the people of Wat Phra Dhammakaya, the inner area, will be extremely sad when the organization is completely controlled by 06 Phra Maha Dr, oppressing everyone, having no one to rely on, their hearts empty, only having to believe in their arrogant determination. Explain that the people of Wat Phra Dhammakaya, the inner area, must accept themselves as great captives, must endure hunger, endure cold, because there is only what is necessary, whether it is food, that is bread and salt, beverages, water is not, wine is not exactly, it seems like the oil is poisonous, so dare not drink. Endure hunger, have no place to stay, must endure cold, have only what is necessary. Explain that, 22, a large bag should mean something that can hold a lot of things, when it is an item. Complaining should mean that it makes an unusual sound when used, like it is about to break or be damaged. Crying means leaking, indicating that it cannot be used anymore. Explain that the part that carries the temple's treasures and stores them will show deterioration if used too hard, filled with too much, starting to show symptoms of tearing. Showing from the outside, because this bag was used with a deception about its age, meaning that it cannot hold a lot for a long time because it lied about its age when it was used. For example, it is older than that but lied that it was new. When used for a short while, it will show that it is not durable for anyone to see. The third to fourth lines are a sub-explanation that Gier and his friends do not want to be there because they know that they are being deceived by the language of cheaters like that. Explain that when explained together, it can be compared to the Dhammakaya temple, where the inner area relies on to build merit. It started to show irregularities in the materials because the people in the area knew that there was cheating on the age of the materials, the construction of various things. When time passed, it would show corruption on the construction of those buildings and places. This made the people in the area who knew about it not want to be in the Dhammakaya temple anymore because of the deception of using materials that were older than the specified age. Who would they sue? Explained that, 23, the group of 7 monks in the Dhammakaya temple who were previously requested by the host to appeal to the monks but were not considered are driving all the sacred words about God in the sky to fight against Buddhist ceremonies such as the anointing of 300 points on the beeswax trunk of the merit side when performing important ceremonies, inserting 2 laws and announcing them and making them believable. This means that this is happening at the Dhammakaya temple, especially at the Great Dhammakaya Sitya. Releasing the chanting of praise to God from another religion to become a current in the sky above the Great Dhammakaya Sitya to control and obstruct the practice of Dhammakaya knowledge through the dome of the Great Dhammakaya Sitya from the side of 01 who had previously been anointed with sacredness from the ceremony during the construction and establishment in the era of 01, inviting the group to do it, along with the use of 2 laws from the group of monks whose names were in the 7 petitions to interfere with the work of 01 both grossly and subtly through the Great Dhammakaya Sitya and this sacred building. In this matter, someone saw the letters floating in the air at the top of the Great Dhammakaya Sitya dome with their physical eyes. That person had a fairly refined Dhamma, so 01 inspired them to see it while circling the Great Dhammakaya Sitya. It was in Arabic, a prayer from another religion. Explained that, 24, explained that there was the elimination of the roots of the original path of the construction of the Dhammakaya temple, which was built as a place to accumulate merit and build virtue with the goal of reaching the ultimate Dhamma according to Luang Por Dhammajayo. With Luang Por Dhammajayo as the leader of the merit, the elimination of the roots of the original path and goal was like opening a war at a level that had to be fought with patience. This caused the leaders to become confused and start hurting themselves. Some had to retreat to hide along the path to focus their hearts inwardly, seeking refuge within. Explained that, 25, if the royal family means the successors to the administration of the Dhammakaya temple according to the initial policy when the temple was built, the eldest brother is the highest ruler of the temple, on the temple which is like carry floating. When carry is a vehicle to deliver goods, floating from the ground means not on the original target route when the temple was built, when O2, Deputy Abbot, the eldest in the administration of Wat Phra Dhammakaya, but recently learned that the authority to administer the temple has been given to O6, Phra Maha Dr. It means that the eldest brother in this sense, O6, Phra Maha Dr., who controls the authority as the eldest brother at Wat Phra Dhammakaya, is leading Wat Phra Dhammakaya to float in the sky, making Wat Phra Dhammakaya like a cargo ship, which is normally a place of merit to take everyone to the ultimate Dhamma, floating, meaning not touching the ground, drifting from the normal path, having a driving force, making it difficult to run. Continued 5. The group of Dhammakaya temple people cannot build merit along the original goal path because they are floating in the air, driven by the explanation of lines 3 to 4, which are both words from the mouth orders and raising the sword, threats to do so. In the mission path that O6 Phra Maha Dr led the group away from the original path, meaning not going to the ultimate Dhamma, which O6 Phra Maha Dr was confident in taking the Dhammakaya temple to his own liking. But in fact he took it away from the original goal path to give it to someone according to the agreement he made with that someone. But while he was about to succeed, because no one could stop him, he felt a sense of responsibility, so he hesitated, causing him to not move to complete the agreement, so he was threatened, dragged, and pulled by the party waiting to receive the Dhammakaya temple that he had agreed to deliver. In the end, O6 Phra Maha Dr had to die a horrible death. Explain that, 26, the French army in this sense is the Dhammakaya temple. The one driving the Dhammakaya temple at this time is O6 Phra Maha Dr. As Kru Jor said earlier that O2, the deputy abbot, the administration of the temple was given to O6 Phra Maha Dr. In February 2023, the leader of the army in this chapter therefore means that O6 Phra Maha Dr is enthusiastically doing something that will result in the loss of a large group of the main group of merit-making practitioners. What he is currently doing and leading the group to do is making merit by building a Buddha image at the Ko Kyu Chedi Sawin to replace the original pink lotus-shaped pagoda that O1 designed and built to enshrine the Ratana relics of grandmother Thongsuk Sangpan, the first master of Dhammakaya knowledge, and it is assumed that this was definitely O6 Phra Maha Dr's idea, from what Kru Jor said on the program on Wednesday the 18th of January 66 that he saw O6 Phra Maha Dr standing and announcing at the door that he would propose a plan to O1, a plan that would make 100,000 people enter the temple per month after this announcement. The following week, the news of the merit-making of the construction of the Buddha was announced. From this prediction, it shows that O6 Phra Maha Dr did not know that what he was actively inviting people to do, which he thought would bring 100,000 people to the temple per month, was very enthusiastic, and would result in the loss of the main group of merit-making people who would go to the ultimate Dhamma. There was also a temple management committee set up by having a stranger come in to control and solve problems at various points related to the merit-making work of Wat Phra Dhammakaya. Explain that 27 can be rephrased as follows. Inside the jar anointed with oil and sandstone, there will be 20 VN before the port is closed. That is, money and treasures were put in the jar and anointed and sealed. When the second precaution by death will create the courage to open the door and knock out the precaution. Explain that the prophecy seems to say that there will be an attempt to close Wat Phra Dhammakaya again. This is the second time after the first attempt in 2560. After 06, Phra Maha Doctor's people moved treasures such as money into the jar and anointed and sealed it tightly. They moved it out of the gate of Wat Phra Dhammakaya. When they were finished moving it out, the temple will be closed for the second time, but with the resolute hearts of the monks and laypeople who are already on guard. And the hearts that are still at the seventh base, they have the power and courage to open the door to enter, exit the Dhammakaya temple, not allowing the temple to be closed. Explanation. 28 can be rephrased as the bones of the feet and hands working together with the sound, which is like walking in rhythm. The sound of soldiers clapping together and the hands clapping together to receive orders. The house that no one has lived in for a long time was awakened into a dream by the sound of clapping, which is the kuti that 01 lives in the Dhammakaya temple, which update number 1 summary of the truth of all three parts, written in July 2018. After that, what has happened until today is the host group came together to submit a letter to the abbot to set up an investigation of Phra Maha Dr. or 06 in this matter and 6 other monks involved in the news at that time. The result is silence. Even the abbot did not receive the case. Even the high-ranking temple administrator, 02, did not receive the case. There are people who are part of 06 who collaborate with the heartless host who negotiated benefits with a monk, a small person but a not-so-small name, relying on the fact that he was once a close friend whom Luang Por Dhammajayo trusted the most. He did everything to prevent Luang Por Kru Jor or 01 from teaching anyone on the show or meeting anyone again, both hiring people to sue 01 with baseless criminal cases, bribing officials to prosecute 01, and preventing their group of people who embezzled money, where officials found evidence, to use as witnesses, to frame the case as 01's fault. Both hiring news agencies to cover up news when it was not beneficial to them, and promoting news that would benefit them. Both deceiving the entire group by issuing fake orders, impersonating 01. Ordering fundraising and mobilizing people in various projects, raising money for the temple, to plan continuous evil, to eliminate 01 and have him face criminal charges for the rest of his life and never having to return. And their group impersonating and using 01's power from fake advice that made everyone believe that 01 was still in command of merit making somewhere. But the truth is that as long as Phra Maha Dr. or 06, who was expelled from the temple by 01 for life, is free to return to the temple, no matter what position he is in. He will do things that are hostile to 01 because he has the intention to eliminate 01 from this point since the beginning, even to the point of adding many criminal cases. It has never changed. Therefore, it is impossible for 06 to let 01's real advice and commands come out to this group of disciples, whether directly or indirectly. And if 01 is really in the temple, they will definitely not let him stay and will notify the government officials to come and search and arrest him. But everything is quiet and smooth, clearly showing that 01 is not really in the temple, and the advice is definitely not 01's. Continued 6. 6. But they took advantage of using fake advice as 01 to order everyone to believe, so they let it be peaceful and smooth, making everyone feel at ease. The only damage that the group did not know or see was the pure merit that they used to have from making merit at this temple. which was gone since 06 ordered everything in the name of 01 since 2019 onwards. Anyone who used to be a member of 06, please know that the pure merit stream at this big temple, which used to help the group escape from suffering that had happened or would happen, has disappeared because Phra Maha Dr did everything to make him stand at this temple instead. 01 even brought the Zoom system to do ignorance, attracting everyone to believe that the order since 2019 that was issued to believe came from someone inviting them to do various things. Especially in 2021, focusing on the Zoom system, which has become the biggest merit-destroying system, relying on the group that did not know, which is delusion. When entering the Zoom system that he hired to do ignorance, the dark side stuck, therefore changing the power of merit that was there into the power of sin. Because they believed that every command was really 01. Each time they entered Zoom to perform the great merit-making ceremony that installed a Zoom screen surrounding the great Dhammakaya Sitya, which was the representative body of the merit power from the millions of white nirvana, and the delusion that came from the minds of the participants in Zoom who thought that it was a system that 01 controlled and commanded. It was the dark power that covered the great Sitya, completely blocking the control of merit from 01. Therefore, everyone did not gain any merit at all, even if they did everything like when performing the merit-making ceremony. It had the opposite effect and had a negative effect on everyone. That is, the flow of sin entered the hearts of everyone who entered Zoom. The black orb that arose would attract the old karma that had existed and did not produce results when 01 controlled merit, which had the opportunity to produce results as a ticking time bomb for each person. The delusion that gathered through Zoom, when spreading loving kindness and praying, sent the dark side to cover the entire world instead. This is the answer to why our group, especially performing ceremonies through Zoom since Maka Buka Day until Visakha Buka Day. The COVID-19 pandemic has become more severe in the world and has even spread to the temple. If on Asala Buka Day, Saturday the 24th of July 2021, the temple has set a goal to gather members to the Zoom system, how many millions at the same time? Light candles at the Dharma square around the pagoda that is densely covered by the delusion that is the weapon of the dark side, millions of them that have become the power of the dark side. What will happen to this world? It is not as good as the karma waiting to take effect in the middle of everyone's stomach. It will also take effect Friday the 23rd of July 2021 at 5:50 a.m. Update number 2 being 02, Deputy Abbot who has changed from being loyal to 01 with all my heart. On the day 02 came to be the head monk at the pagoda surrounded by the black screen of the Zoom system on Maka Buka Day, the 26th of February 2021. Then came the beginning of March 2021 and the day of the great revered teacher on the 3rd of February 2021. 02 also had a sermon and a prayer guide that reflected his heartlessness. His eyes were hard as if he had no soul, as if he was a completely different person from the one who used to have gentle eyes and words that did not mention 01. But the meaning of the words said that he hated 01 the most. What was said in the council had no connection with 01 at all, as if 01 had never existed in 02's life. Since 01 was the leader of the suppression sector who still had a human body and had been the leader of building merit since the beginning, more than 50 years, that 02 had followed 01 all along. When 02's mental state reflected in the words spoken in the council on the first Sunday of the month and the day of the great revered teacher, it strangely meant that the merit that he had shared with 01 for more than 50 years had also disappeared. In that case, sin had a chance to enter 02 completely. Combined with being the president of the monks in 2 major merit-making ceremonies, becoming the president of the monks in the major sin ceremony because he was involved with Zoom, who had hidden evil intentions, all the merit was gone, sin was done to the fullest, merit did not have a chance, which meant all the major merit that was created with O1 also disappeared from O2's heart. On World Earth Day, April 22, 2021, when O2 was the head monk again, in lighting the Guinness World Record, it was a great sin, fully together with O6, because it was announced to the world and recorded as well. In lying, deceiving the temple people and the world about lighting the most candles in the world, with millions of people zooming in, saying that it was to worship the Lord Buddha. But in fact, it was a sin that deceived both monks and laypeople around the world that all of that was done to offer to O1 and to worship the Lord Buddha. But behind the origin of using the Zoom system and lighting the candles on that day, there was a bad intention towards O1 and the temple people as the root, causing the result to become the greatest sin. And no more than 7 days, on Thursday, May 29, 2021, the knowledgeable people also learned by the dragon method from O1 that O2 was under the power of great sin, cutting off his life completely, because there is no merit left to nourish the heart. This story was told on a YouTube channel in 2024, which was wrongly told after Asala Buka Day, when O2 was eliminated by O6. But it was told again this year, 2025. This is the truth that was told correctly. I apologize to the listeners who may have heard it in the clip in 2024. I would like to correct it to be Thursday, May 29, 2021. The expert did not say how O2 was eliminated. Then O1 used Dhammakaya knowledge to help bring O2's soul, during the time when he still had the highest respect and loyalty for O1 and had a solid Dhammakaya, back to this physical body in time. And immediately after O2 was resurrected, it was clear that on the following Sunday, May 2, 2021, O2's sermon was clearly a review of O2's own merit since following O1 to build the temple and telling the story of the cause of COVID, and leading the group to pray back to the original path, which was following Luang Pu, Luang Pha, and Luang Yai to the end of the Dhamma. That has not been heard for a long time since 2019. Which the sermon of O2 on May 2, 2021 was brought out for review on Saturday, May 8, 2021 again. The knowledgeable said that O6 listened to this sermon and was very dissatisfied because in fact O6 had already eliminated O2, but why did he still lead the group to the end of the Dharma? Please follow and listen in the next clip.